afternoon, everyone. This is RAND, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, February 12, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a time for change call tonight after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Look at a sunset for a second. Just for a second, you forget your separateness. You are the sunset. That is the moment when you feel the beauty of it. But the moment you say that it is a beautiful sunset, you are no longer feeling it. You have come back to your separate, enclosed entity of the ego, Osho. When we talk about being separate and one, most of us exist from the perspective of separateness. Those people over there are separate from me, that building separate from me, that mountain separate from me, that ocean front separate from me. But some of us view it as all one. It's different parts representing or presenting different forms for us to experience. And as one, you imagine all of us gods in these bodies as one, are experiencing many different things in this very now moment. It is certain that one day we will leave these bodies. And it will come as a great surprise. Or will it really? In the near future, doesn't it make sense that you, any of us, we decide. Now, we're gods, and we're pure consciousness. So we decide, for the most part, when to leave the body. Right now, that isn't in the mix yet, because we all have this unknown territory where you could walk across the street, get hit by a bus. Okay? It's an unknown area. But imagine what would occur if that wasn't in the picture, that you knew that you as a God, you never die. The body, it exhausts itself and you leave it. But let's just say that the body doesn't exhaust itself. The only time the body exhausts itself was that when you determine as a God that, okay, and this is through heart-mindedness, you say, well, I've been in this body for a few thousand years. Or it could be a few hundred. It just depends on you. And I want to move on. I want to do something else. I want to have a different experience. Okay? Now, obviously, by being in the body for as long as you choose, and without sickness and disease and all this other stuff, it's really unnecessary. You would learn and experience many things, and you would come to a point where you would say, now I know who and what I am. I've mastered my ego mind. I've mastered my thoughts. And I'm in the heart mind. And I know that, and I've been able to manifest anything I want instantaneously. You kind of imagine that and put that in front of you on your canvas, so to speak. Would that be boring for us? Would we become bored with it? Or would we like it so that, not sure when I'm going to leave the body, but one day I'll leave the body type thing? Would we enjoy that more? Because I don't believe any of us think about the mortality right now until the body gets to a certain level. And then our attention starts going more and more on the body, doesn't it? When we're young, when the body is growing, let's put it that way, that doesn't enter our minds, really, does it? Did it enter your mind when you were 20 years old? Well, you're worried about mortality. Only when the body starts talking with you more and more and more do you pay attention. Right now, we have no idea how long we will live. Any of us right now. It's not negative. But don't you feel sometimes that we are all wild and free as gods? We are pure consciousness. We never die. We are eternal. And we come into these bodies and we don't have a clue. Pretty much. Whatever it is that's fed to us, we choose to absorb and interact and rest to this present moment. So it's like, what would the difference be collectively if we decided that, okay, so I'm going to stay in this body 1,000 years. I'm going to stay in 1,200 years. I'm going to stay in whatever. How many years do you believe that you'd like to stay in that body? Now, the body's not going to deteriorate. It's not going to age. And it's not going to be riddled with diseases and everything else. It's not going to rot away. It's not going to be oxidated. So that's out of the way. Now you figure out, because it'll take a bit, won't it? Because what would most of us do? Probably abuse it in certain ways, most likely. And then some of us would be in deep gratitude for it. And be in gratitude every moment that we're in that body. Now, we would learn a lot of things. We would learn immensely. We would experience a lot of things. You could create something and you could leave a piece of it unknown. Just for a little pizzazz. So you wouldn't know the complete outcome of it, but you would experience it. And the interesting thing about this, compared to where we're at now, is that you would know, say. You would know that this is something you want to experience. This wouldn't be something that you doubted or guessed or iffy or waffly. This was something that you, with gusto, said, this is what I want to experience. Now, there is the unknown, because have you experienced it before? Maybe past lives, maybe 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 20,000 years ago. Maybe in some way, shape, or form. But in now, you don't recollect. So it intrigues you. And what are we here to do? We're here to be entertained. If we all just sat around and stared, what do you think that would be like? Boring. So we constantly are creating things for ourselves, but right now we create things for ourselves that we aren't aware of. That's where we're at. We don't have the awareness yet. We will. So when we create things, most of the time, they come in and we're like blown away because we don't know where it came from. How did that happen? Where did that come from? And then we move to another point, and we begin to comprehend things. As we know, I really don't care to be controlled or mastered by my ego mind anymore. I know what it is. I leave it alone, and I use my heart mind so I can master it. So that's the only way I can learn from it. So I learn what it is, specifically what it's here to do. It begins to kind of unfold itself when you embrace that perspective and that comprehension. You leave it alone to master it. So you step outside of it. It's crucial. As we watch this planet, and as we watch other reflections of ourselves. The ego mind would put us in a position of judge ourselves and judge everything else. Not fun. But her-mindedness, when you do that, you're not judging anything. You're just watching. You're taking it in, experiencing it. Some things are pleasant and fun. Other things aren't so pleasant and fun. It's just like in a meditation. When you find a place that you're comfortable with, you have no outside distraction, you begin to relax into your body. The only way for any of us to relax is to relax into our bodies. Really is. It's like when you lay your head on the pillow at night, I guarantee you, most of us, think it's like a superhighway of thoughts zooming by at the speed of light. It's like a blur, you know? And it's like, you know, you take photography of cars driving along and stuff, and it looks like one line of light. Have you ever seen those pictures? It's kind of like that. And a lot of the times, most people in this country alone you can't just lay on the pillow and fall asleep, because you are stressed, you have some forms of worry, you have some forms of fear, because that all emanates from the ego mind. Now, when you have that, you can literally start to just kind of just relax into your body, right? You're still, as still as you can be. And you're focused on your breath rising and falling. Just your natural breathing. And you go into deep gratitude. I'm deeply grateful for this very moment I'm in. And watch what happens. It'll subside as you move outside of it and you fall asleep. Most people are so overworked, so stressed out. Some don't even know they're stressed out. All in a hurry. You ever notice that? And has it ever been any different from generation to generation? Not really. Not really. It's like everybody, what creates that? Ego mind. When you're around somebody, okay, and it could be someone who's been in the body longer than you have, your body, and they move slow. Okay? They just move slow. When they pick up something, they move slow and they pick it up. They're not decrepit. They move slow. And just about anything. They don't seem to be in a hurry. You know? And a lot of people get a little, it's okay at first, but they get a little frustrated because someone is moving for them too slow. It becomes irritable in a way. Or you're behind someone on the road, and they're, you know, maybe it's a 35-mile-an-hour zone, and they're going 15. And you can't, you know, you're looking and you're going, oh my gosh, look at this. And you try to get, you know, you can't get around them. So you just got to sit there. And what I say to people is, well, play some tune or music, you know, pop in an MP4, whatever, CD, and just kind of kick back and enjoy your surroundings. Pay attention to where you're going, of course, and you slow down. It's quite interesting because that hurriedness that we have, and sometimes we all have it. There's certain things that spark it. We're all different in that way. Some things will spark somebody a lot quicker than someone else it wouldn't. What does that? What's the root drive of us rushing? It's ego mind. You know, we're stressing because we might be running late, or we've got to get somewhere, or it's just a constant type thing. Or you're looking at your watch all the time. It says, oh, geez. And then you're getting ready for something or doing something. You look at your watch and go, oh, man, I'm going to be late. Oh, God. And so you then start hurrying. Now, wouldn't it be interesting if you just sat back and said, so what? I'm going to take my time. Why would I want to hurry in this life at all? And these are just different challenges that we're presented with from the ego mind. We don't, and most of us we don't stop for a moment and say, what the heck am I doing? Why would I be doing this? This life is so phenomenal, so precious. What in the heck am I doing rushing through it? And it's inevitable. You get a younger one and an older one. And the younger one after a bit, gets a little frustrated because the older one is moving too slow. And maybe the older one, and not being decrepit, fully functional, flexible and everything, maybe the older one has learned there's no reason to rush. Never has been. Take your time. Heard that statement quite a few, right? Take your time. No hurry. No need to rush. We're not in a race. You hear me say that all the time. We aren't in a race. You're not in a race with yourself. That's ego mind. You decide, I am going to embrace every moment that I'm in this body. I enjoy life. See, it's where attention goes, energy flows. And we don't really focus on that. It just happens. And so we have attention somewhere. That's where energy flows. That's where things begin to manifest. And it doesn't matter what the subject is. But when we look at ourselves as one, because that's really what we are. All of us make up the one collective consciousness. Throughout the galaxies and the universes, who is it that creates artificial intelligence? Think about this, collective consciousness. For what reason? To experience and learn. Isn't it interesting that we, the collective consciousness, pure consciousness, we call it God on this planet, we are, you hear me say we have everything we need and will ever need in this eternal journey, right? So why would we need AI? Think about that. Why? When we're only using 9% of our gray matter, of the brain. Does that make any sense to us? Maybe it's a shortcut. Maybe it's an easy way out. All right? To have something, do something that we could just focus on and create. This is what we're really about. Not about all that other stuff. It's like, on this planet, there's AI, right? And AI and AI and AI, more and more and more. Who's creating the AI? We are. It's not creating itself. But now, it is. Imagine what would happen if every one of us had full brain capacity, full cerebral cortex capacity. In other words, 100%. What do you think would happen? Well, first, you would definitely want to be in heart-mindedness, and you will definitely want to have mastered your ego mind and your thoughts, big time, before you would ever venture into that. One might ask, why is it that we only use this amount of percentage of our brains? What's the rest for? To make room for evolution. I believe that we all know that most of us right in this very now moment would have a meltdown with 100% capacity of our brains. You remember, we're in highly emotional bodies. And when we're not prepared for that emotion, which means mastering of the ego mind, mastering of our thoughts, and residing in heart-mindedness, that's different. See, because then when you have full brain capacity, you really don't need the body. The body becomes secondary. It's not like it is now. So that means that we could exist everywhere and everything like we already do. The brain at 100% capacity would match the God, the pure consciousness that we are. You see what I mean? It doesn't by far now. Not even close. But that's where we're heading when we choose to head that way. Others will just incarnate over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's just like when you have you haven't mastered ego mind, you haven't mastered thought. And most of the time you're in ego mind and not heart mind. And you were to view all of your past lives, you would have a meltdown. Remember, emotionality, these bodies are highly emotional, highly sensitive. So this is why you don't remember. There's a reason for it that you don't remember. Because we are so behind ourselves and where we will be, from where we will be. And when that happens, there's like an imbalance in the yin and the yang, say, the universal balance. And so we start to put that balance and bring it together. And then the evolutionary steps, of course, is highly spiritual, where you go beyond science. You go beyond quantum physics. You go beyond all of it. And you could view it all in a little bottle. You could view all the universes and everything like in a little bottle. It's all there. And every single God incarnates into some vessel, some form of vessel. And I could. It's interesting that you may have been a dog, you may have been a rabbit, you may have been a fish, you may have been a blade of grass, you may have been a branch on a tree or a tree, and it goes on and on and on and on. And see, as we begin to remember, we then begin to realize that things are missing, like different species on the planet and life forms and everything. And then we say, well, you know what it is? It's time to repopulate. It's time to bring different things back into the ecosystem. Collectively, we're the ones that created this planet. We don't remember because we haven't been able to plug into the collective consciousness for that information, for that recollection. One might say, why is that? Well, because we don't remember. It's real simple. We don't remember. We know sometimes that there are things there that we say to ourselves, wait a minute. Something right here, I can't, I'm not able to put my finger on it. You ever done that? Where something comes along and it's just kind of like, And you can't quite put it on your tongue or pick it out. And you remember that we have this automatic recorder with our subconscious mind, records everything. It records everything from all past lives. It's our grand library. Each of us has one. Well, I thought that, all that goes away when we leave the body. No, it really doesn't. You as a God can go into your grand library and you can look at everything and anything that you have ever experienced. It's all recorded by us gods. We make sure of that. It makes sense, doesn't it? We all want to keep a record. We all want to be able to reflect and look with our own personal grand library. That's what it is. That's what we have. Now, it doesn't mean that we, hey, you're going to plug into it, you're going to go into meditation and plug into your grand library. It's like, there's some people that say that they were this being in a past life. They were Cleopatra, they were Mark Antony, they were this, they were that, Alexander the Great. It doesn't matter. Really, it doesn't. Because the life you're in is the life you are in that very moment. It doesn't matter how many times you've been a Pleiadian, Sirian, Arcturian, Andromedan. It doesn't matter. It has really no bearing. You are who you are in that body in this very moment. Which is what? God, pure consciousness in the body. That's what we are, all of us. And it's interesting when you realize is that every one of us deserve the best of everything by far on this planet. Not to go through suffering, disappointment, misdirection, misguided. Doesn't make any sense, does it? And to continually repeat it for thousands and thousands and millions and billions of years. Doesn't make any sense. Because we are the creators. It's what we do. All of us are co-creators because we're all collectively together creating. And it's anything. Could be anything. And the majority of us aren't even aware of that. We're not aware of that. It's like you say, Jim, are you aware that you created that? No, I didn't create it. Humble in a healthy way with oneself. Knowing, see, without the ego mind, you aren't out to impress anything or anyone at all. Zero. No interest in it. But you are here at that stage to enjoy your life. Every bit of it. And we've all heard of the bucket list, right? Where people, in this life, they would like to do this, 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 and this. And some people do it. Others will have the bucket list, and then they'll leave the body, and there's the bucket list. Usually it's when they're on the way out that they will do the bucket list. But if there's something that you want to do, not everybody else, but just you, something that you've always thought about doing, but maybe we're too fearful or something, it's like as easy as you've always wanted to be in a hot air, you'd want to get into a hot air balloon during the fall and get way up and look at all the colors. But you never mustered up the courage to do so because you were afraid of heights. Right? But one day you say to yourself in meditation, I want to do this, so I'm going to do it. And then the scene is set. And before you know it, there comes an opportunity where they're gathering a hot air balloon somewhere. And you go, there it is. And you get on a hot air balloon, you get way up there, and you look around, and it's so silent and peaceful. And you're absolutely in bliss. And you're looking at you. Believe it or not, you're looking at this planet, which is you. You're the planet you. Again, no separation at all. And when you begin to embrace that, so you're with a group of people, right? And you know you're not separate. This is way beyond bloodlines and, blood types and all that stuff. Way beyond that. Well, how can we be one? Because we're all God. We always have been, always will be, ever, beyond, and forever. That's what we are. The illusion is a separation. Everything that changes is an illusion. It isn't real. Only the gods that we are real. The rest of this stuff we create for our own entertainment, challenge, and enjoyment. And then it's gone. And we've been doing this for an eternity. It's nothing new. It's just that right now, many of us are in, the amnesia area where we don't remember falling down into lower frequencies. Don't remember it. And we're convinced that, hey, wait, this is the way it's supposed to be. No. Because every one of us at times will feel that something isn't fitting right. We all have that on occasion. It comes in, and we say to ourselves, no, something is just not fitting into the right place. Right? It's not fitting into the right place. And that's why. So, in the quiet time of this meditation, you focus on your deep gratitude and your awareness of who and what you are. You're the God. You are pure consciousness. That body is temporary. That name is temporary. Your possessions are temporary. And none of us are separate. You think the grass is separate from you? It isn't. The God that you are. The trees, all of it. The birds, the bees, all the animals, and all of the life. We're all part of it. If you remember the movie The Matrix, when you looked at everyone, they were all digits, binary code, streaming wherever you looked. But it was all one. Each of us taking on different forms of energy, expressing that energy we call life. I'll join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And then easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body. Focus on your breath rising and falling. Stillness is found within chaos. At the center of every cyclone is a space where stillness sits in its perfect grace. No matter how wild the world may turn, this profound inner peace is yours to burn. Even as the mind spirals and spins, the stillness within you always wins. It is unshakable, unbreakable, and super strong. This stillness is where your soul's light belongs. Just close your eyes and rest deep inside. Let the crazy chaos fade as peace is your guide. Feel this truth deep within your core, for you are this stillness forevermore. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here tonight after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Continue our time for change call. And Thursday, February 13, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's going on within you or outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.